Welcome back to Richo Hobby and Art. So part 4 in the look at my magnet collection, souvenir magnet collection. This first one is from the National Museum of Natural History, the Smithsonian. Features a bush elephant in the middle of the rotunda. That had been there for 40-some years. I haven't been there recently, so I don't know if it's still there, but if you've been there at some point, you probably remember there's an elephant in the middle of the floor, so there it is. A lot of these are from the Virginia, D.C., North Carolina area. So that's kind of, but we have some other states as well today. This is the U.S. Declaration of Independence, and it's for the National Archives, the National Archives Experience. We went there in the early 2000s, and so instead of just being the National Archives, they added the word experience to make it more fun for school children. I went as an adult, but there it is, the Declaration of Independence in a magnet. Let's see here. We got Luray Caverns, Virginia. Beautiful underground cave situation with an organ, working organ. Let's see here. Several of these are stuck together. That's what happens when you pull them out of a box. Virginia Beach, the Neptune statue. This statue of Neptune, if you've ever been to Virginia Beach, is kind of one of my favorite parts of the boardwalk or the main drag there. It's a beautiful statue, very large, and so it's something to see if you've never done that. Here's the Appomattox Courthouse in Virginia, in Western Virginia. This is where the Civil War was. The truce was signed, or the end of the war. Anyway, that was done here, and so it shows both sides doing that. Let's see. This is based on a painting. The Surrender by Keith Rocco depicts the meeting between the Confederate General Robert E. Lee and Federal Lieutenant General Ulysses S. Grant. And it's in the parlor of the courthouse. And that is open. It's operated by the Park Service, and you can see this room. Just jumping all over the state. This is from the Nauticus, the National Maritime Center, and it's featuring the big warship that they have there. I believe this is, oh gosh, it doesn't say. I think it's the Wisconsin. Here's sort of near that Appomattox area. This is Bedford, Virginia, and it features the National D-Day Memorial. And the reason they had chosen Bedford, Virginia, because I believe the most amount of people who perished in that D-Day invasion were from that county, and so they decided to put that museum in that location. Along the same lines, here's Arlington National Cemetery. In Arlington, Virginia, right there by D.C. Historic Jamestown, featuring a statue there. This is the first English settlement in North America, 1607. Along with that, I have the magnet for the 1607-2007 celebration. I was living in Jamestown in 2007 and working at Colonial Williamsburg, so that is what those are from. And we're going to talk about Jamestown. We'll also talk about Yorktown. Here's Yorktown Battlefield. Historic Jamestown and Yorktown Battlefield are both national parks. And then they had the Yorktown Victory Center and Jamestown Settlement or something. Those were the state parks. So there were 4 different things you could go to. Those of you who have been there know about that. There's a couple national parks in North Carolina. So we have the Wright Brothers National Memorial, First Flight, and then Fort Raleigh, which is also in the sort of the same Manteo. It's not on Manteo, but it's in that area, the Outer Banks. Has a nice Elizabethan garden, if you ever get a chance to go there. And let's see, jumping out of Virginia, we have a couple from Iowa. This is the Iowa State Fair. You gotta love it. From 2008 when we went. And we have the Rock Island Arsenal. This is from Rock Island, Illinois, in the Quad City area. Went there to the museum, saw some of those outdoor displays, checked out the large dam facility that's operated there, and so got a magnet. Tennessee, the Lane Motor Museum, which is in Nashville, a beautiful collection, the largest collection of European vehicles I have seen around Tennessee. This is a really huge collection of European sports cars, racing cars, coupes, sedans, all kinds of things. It was quite a museum, so got a magnet. And rounding it out, we've got, here's a New York magnet that I hadn't shown, shows the Statue of Liberty. It's just basically, it's just one we got when we were in Manhattan back in 2006. Here's a magnet from New Bern, North Carolina. It's based on a painting around New Bern, North Carolina. Oh, it's a watercolor by Janet Francoeur or something like that in 1995. It shows different buildings that a tourist might notice around town. You have Tryon Palace in the middle. We've got City Hall, Christ Church, the old county courthouse, First Baptist, and some other buildings that the Presbyterian Church is on here. I think that's what this is. And some other things. I do notice that definitely from 1995, it shows the dormer windows on Tryon Palace, which around that time they decided was not correct. It was actually even before that. I think well, somewhere in there they decided it was not correct, and later they were removed. It also features the armillary in the front, and that had been since removed years ago. I conserved it when I worked there for a garden exhibit, but it had been off view for a long time. And the last three that I'm going to show in this video are all aircraft magnets. And I got them years ago. So we got a CH-46 Sea Knight, a AH-64 Super Cobra, and a C-130 Hercules. There we go. I am not exactly sure where I got these. I believe this one came from the National Museum of the Marine Corps, which is Quantico Triangle, Virginia. I had been there a couple of times. I'm pretty sure that's where this one came from. I think, this is hard to pick up, the C-130, I'm going to say probably came from the National Museum of the Air Force, which is at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio. So here's a magnet from Ohio. I haven't shown that state before in this series. So that was this one. It had been used for a long time. I had another magnet on top of it, and I used it on one of those boards, a place that you work at. It shows whether you're in or out. I didn't want just a magnet, so I had this on there. And then years later, I bought this one, which is a much better magnet. I don't know where I got this from. This could have just come from a magnet store. I'd like to say I got this from a museum, but I just don't think it did. If it came from a museum, it could have come from the same one from the Marine Corps Museum, but otherwise, I have no idea. So those are some aircraft. And I wasn't a pilot or anything. I just liked military aircraft. And so that's why I have them. Thanks for watching.